Now, have I caught anyone unawares? Can you all hear me? 5 minutes early, I know, but I've just been chasing my butt for the past 3/4 of an hour. But I'm ready to go. So if someone can give me a thumbs up or a yes, that would be good. Until such time. Well done, Douglas. Thank you. So in that case, you've only got me to look forward to tonight because Scott's away. Andy's tied up for a little while. So I've done it before, I'll do it again. So in no particular order, it's hello to me. Oh God, I'm at the top. Douglas Mungham, Peter Cochrane, Douglas Mungham, Lawrence Bagasia, Barry Chitty, David Nichol, mid-afternoon here, scorching hot. Thought I'd come in and call and learn a thing or two. Well, hopefully you do, Dave. And that looks like James Crawford. That's currently all the guys that are in. I'm not going to start for a little while, but I'm here if you want to have a wine or a bitch or anything, ask a few questions. Woodworm Paul's just dropped in. Now, I will be running this chat on my own for a fair amount of the time, so if I miss a question, I do apologise in advance, but I've only got the one set of eyes. Hi Rob, CP, and they will be concentrating on what I'm doing. Paul Heighton, the Greasby Turner, good evening to you. No, you're not late. I'm a tad early because I'm doing it on my own at the moment. So apologies from Rich, but he has put up a post and I've stuck one up quickly. Steve Scott, hi mate. Just apologising and saying come over, and you've obviously all found me. Thank you very much. So for those that sit on the corner of the settee until it's exactly 8 o'clock, I will wait for them. Don't want them to miss out, although you don't miss out because you can go back and you can watch it over and over again if you're so inclined. And the more times you watch it over or go into it, the more times it strikes as a hit, which is good for me. Have I overturned rhododendron? Just been given some. Well, Paul, rhododendron for some people can be an absolute nightmare. Hi kiddo. The reason I say that is because the sap in it is very toxic. I know a good friend of mine, Club Turner, who was given some and he turned it wet and he couldn't see for about 3 weeks. His eyes were like piss holes in the snow where the sap got in. So just be aware that it's not the easiest thing to turn, safest thing to turn when it's wet. Full snorkel diving gear and the lot would be a good idea for that. When it's dry, it's not so bad, but if you do get any dust in your eyes, it does reactivate the sap. So it's not one that I would race after, and it's not everyone that gets the same results from it. But just be warned, if you look up on the wood databases and places like that, you will find it's not one that that many people put up. And for that reason, Tony Smith, good evening to you. Peter Kelly, oh, you're awake, mate. God, That's unusual for you to be awake and watch me in an evening. Janet just kicked you. So get out, you lazy sod. Right, it's 8 o'clock, so let's make a start. And I know that's what you guys have come over here to see, not me rabbiting away. Mulberry. It's what I cut, so I know it's mulberry. It's quite yellow. There is a bit of bark on that side, and there's a bit of bark on that side. So literally all I've done is put a faceplate ring on there, and that will go on the chuck in a minute. I just see a query. Have you ever used Star Bond? If so, where do you get it from? Paul, Star Bond, as far as I'm concerned, is too bloody expensive to use. It's super glue. Unless anyone can prove anything different, the only bonus is they do it in colours or they do it in black. I'm not saying it's any better or any worse, but it is expensive. So if you can get it and you want to use black super glue, fine. If you don't need black super glue, the cheap, and I get this over here on eBay. Where are we? I get that for 3 tubs of that, and that's 50-gram tubs for just under £10. Now, just be careful what you're saying about him.
I'm here again.
Yeah, right. Well, I haven't done anything. I've just mounted it on the lathe, and I see Rich has popped in. Thanks, guys, for covering me last minute. No, it's no problem, Rich. Try and do that if we can. David Nickel, how long has that piece of wood dried? About 8-10 years. So now my man's in. I'm going to put him where I know where it is.
Yeah, get rid of me. Yeah.
I'm going to take him off the screen because I can. And I'm going to change the camera to that one. Right. Thanks for coming in, Andy. Hope your meeting was successful.
Yes, it was very, and I just managed to get it finished just about 8 o'clock, so it wasn't too bad at all.
Right. I didn't promise anyone that you would be in, so I said I would struggle through it if necessary. So
unfortunately, somebody else had a meeting at 8 as well, so that helped.
Yeah, I haven't said many hellos, but I've just gone through the list.
Oh, you've done that, right?
Yeah, as far as them all.
Mm-hmm.
I can't see what the comment is. It's just disappeared, and I'm not going to bother to look. So if I don't mention it, don't answer it. Nick Castle has just popped in. If I don't answer it, put it on again. Andy will soon bring it back up again.
Sure. Yeah, a couple of question marks.
Yeah.
Or Q's.
Yeah.
Beginning, and then we'll be all right.
Right. For the aficionados out there, it's 10 inches wide. And it's 80 mil deep.
And what is it?
It's mulberry.
Oh, mulberry. All right.
Yeah, it's it could be quite a bright mulberry.
It's not too split for mulberry, is it?
No. Although, having said that, there's quite a few shakes down there.
It's got some, yeah.
Yeah, that is actual part of one of the centres of the tree, and that is one of the problems with mulberry. Just off screen, that it does multi-trunk. That's the centre over here.
Yeah.
From this side, so it come up at a funny angle. But anyway, let's get some volume into this and see what mess we can make out of it.
I see lots of people have said hello to me, so I'll say hello to them en masse if that's all right.
Yes.
Very pleased to be here and to see you, and I've just about made it. So
No, keep the chat on their feet.
Yeah, and Linny Kins has said typical
Yeah,
plumber
no,
can't work out if you want to use imperial or metric. Yeah,
no,
this way.
keeps the chat on their feet, keeps them awake. Right, we're up at about that speed, which is not bad. I did manage to sharpen all the gouges before I started.
Always helps.
Yeah, well, you know how much time I had.
Yes.
How much time I had, and I've got nearly a bag full of shavings off the floor from what I was doing. So I had to tidy up, otherwise I'd have been turning down here on the floor.
Yeah. I've even cleared my workshop from this afternoon.
And what did I see a comment that Mr. Kelly put on there just now? Some people have to work. Oh, you poor old bugger. You don't do too bad in your shed.
I missed that.
Yeah, I think it was just as I was letting you in.
I still work, mate. Yes.
Yeah.
Did you deal with Woodworm Paul's question? Have you ever used Starbond? If so, where did you get it from?
I've answered that.
You've answered that, right?
Said,
okay.
It's just expensive for what it is. It's
Yep.
super glue.
Yep, it is.
Another means of finishing pens or small items, if you so wish.
They do a coloured one as well, don't they? But
Yep. Just turn the big sucker on. Got the little window wall one on. Now I've got no thoughts in my mind at the moment which shape this is going. It was a bit that was on the floor underneath the back of the bench, and I've literally just pulled it out. I thought, oh, that'll do. So until such times as I can see a little bit of the side, I'm not going to totally commit yet.
Question from Douglas Mungham: does mulberry stay yellow?
Mine does, but I don't put it in the window.
Yeah, it depends how much light it gets and its sunlight. Yeah.
You've got to be Alex of Warden Things. That's a new one.
Yes.
Not seen you in before, Alex. Welcome.
Hi, Alex.
Where do you hail from? Because we're a nosy bunch in here. We like to know everything.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Peter Keller says he must tidy his workshop because he's getting taller.
Yeah, well, Janet keeps feeding him as well.
The old ones are the best.
Yeah. I made a better job of sharpening this one than the other one.
Keep practicing, you'll get good at it.
Yeah, this one actually cuts quite well.
I got mine right today as well. Sometimes they just don't go, do they?
Well, I was a bit of a panic to put them on and just touch them up. So let's see what we've got now.
Obviously, a good day for tools today then. Oh, it's from Aberdeen, Scotland.
Yeah, welcome aboard. You know, we're not that fussy, Alex. We'll have a good laugh. As long as you can take a good laugh, we all enjoy that. So there's a nasty spider emanating from the centre, the pith. Very little pith on this. It's sort of goes a dark brown and then shakes all over the place. but it's quite a coarse wood, but it does take quite a nice finish. And the sawdust comes off as almost a slurry. So the centre is there, and it comes up through and it comes out there. So looking at the outside, the only place that was a little bit iffy is just there.
Yep.
Which I'll put a drop of super glue in.
And we won't talk about that bit.
No, well, there's 2 bits missing, so it's just looking. I want to get above this, so I'm going to take another nearly ½ inch off of the wall and see what it looks like then.
Yeah.
Like I said, this is one of those that you can't build plans for it.
It's mulberry, Alex. I just got in before Linnykins and Rob.
You can hear the actual rim splitting as I'm cutting it. So like most things like that, close the flute off and take a lot lighter pass and shut your eyes.
Shut your eyes and hope for the best,
yeah. That's what was chattering then. Let's see what that is. It's black and it's dry.
A bit crumbly too.
It's bark. It's a bark inclusion, but it doesn't go through to the what will be top. But all this is loose. So that bit will probably ping out if it does. Do I care?
Nope.
No. Get some of this
because there'll be more bark
first.
More bark underneath there, won't there?
Yeah. If I can get that out. It looks like that's just a little cap.
So that's what a braddle's for. I've often wondered. Yeah.
It's for stabbing your finger because you keep missing. Do I? Yes.
Yeah.
So that's how big that piece was. Just about to see it in my hand. That's on the floor now. It's down in mouse territory, isn't it?
Yep.
Oh, it's a long way down.
That noise sounds familiar.
Yeah. Groany croaky. Right. So I think we can make the base a bit smaller. It's going to be one of my sort of winged bowls, I think. Don't really want to go up too much more because of that wild bit of grain there, so I want to roll the top over. So I almost know what I'm doing now.
Good Lord, steady on. It's only 1:15. Does be good to see somebody doing a push cut.
This doesn't pull that well, and I'm not a big fan of pull cuts.
No, nor am I, which is why I said it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that is with a 1/2 inch bowl gouge.
Yep. Seems to be a trend towards them these days, isn't it, the pull cuts?
It's a lazy cut.
Well, I think so. I use it occasionally, but not very often.
Yeah, I use it occasionally. Needs must.
Yeah. Mm.
So easing off on the weight on the cut now. And just gently sliding off the end.
A question when you finish that. Question
Just
from
like that.
Brian Watkins.
Hello, Brian. New
Do
name
you?
again?
Yeah, with a spelt with a Y as well. Jeez, my wife's maiden name was a Brian with a Y. That's apropos of nothing at all. Do you grind your gouges freehand, Keith, or do you use a sharpening system?
I have
And Ruby's in.
Yeah, hello, Ruby. I have a Tormek chisel guide, which I use on a CBN wheel. So I've got the...
Down a bit.
Where are we? I've got the Tormek unit, which you put your chisel in.
Yeah, I love it.
To a distance out
65
there.
mil, yeah.
Well, I set mine to 50. Okay. And then that sits in the on my bench grinder, and I use a CBN wheel on it. So they're all of my gouges are the same. I can pick up any 2 gouges, any 3, 4 gouges. They're all the same angle at the nose. It's just the length of the wing.
Yep.
Is slightly different. So if I go over to, these are both 1/2 inch. If I go over to a 1/4 or 10 mil, exactly the same angle, same bit of wing. And someone questioned this afternoon. How long do you grind your wings? I grind them to suit me or to suit a specific job. Somebody who thinks of you as an angel, obviously. Where's that?
If you've got wings.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Couple
more questions. Jimmy Clues said the pull cut was most efficient cut for removing bulk in a YouTube video. It probably is for him.
Right. The only time I would specifically use a pull cut would be end grain hollowing. Something like Andy and I are going to do on the 30. Something flew out then. The 34th of next month, August, when we don't go head to head, but we go tool to tool, the same as we did before, and both do the same project, and turn and chat. I don't know what it was, but it flew out and hit my arm. Yeah, it pinged my arm, but it wasn't drastic.
And then Douglas Mungham is asking a question, which I don't know quite what he means, but I'll pass the question on. Keith, you know what you're going to turn shape-wise. Who gave you the information? Laugh out loud.
My brain fairy.
And we still have them at our age.
Or is it brain farts? I think it's a bit of both. Right. What I'm going to do now.
I love wood turning. Adam is in.
Hi, Adam. Right, I've already got my calipers set up. Just going to touch the left wing and match it up with the right wing. Score a little ring. You can just about see it. Can't do much about that. I've had a bit of a fight with the cameras. That's it. You can see it a bit better there. Earlier on this evening to actually get them to show what I was going to be turning, because they were all over the place. They'd all got knocked, and like I say, this was set up last minute. What time did Rich ring me? About 5 to 7, and I rang you
just before 7. Yeah, yep.
Yeah, I rang you just about on 7, wasn't it?
That's right, because my meeting was about to start, wasn't it? Yeah.
So my 1.5 mil parting tool, just run that in there. Where did I put that? 10 mil. It's going to be one of those evenings I'm going to end up talking to myself, but don't worry about it.
Oh, we won't listen. It's not a problem.
So this is going to go into the Axminster F jaws. So quite a small mortise.
35 or something, isn't it? It's quite small.
Yeah, which is beautiful for this sort of thing, and it's more than adequate. So just run in there with my homemade scraper to give me the right angle. I can turn that on its side, give it a slight scraping cut, and that's a good one. I will mark the bottom, centre, and a couple of small rings. And there's a little mark there, so we'll put a ring there and another one there. That's what marks are for, isn't it? Filling them up with rings.
Absolutely.
I think I'm happy with that. It's got quite a nice finish on it, straight off the tool, but it's a little bit ridged, which is quite often the case with mulberry. Yes, we're on.
Adam's turning a big old lump of chestnut, half log, to try and turn tonight.
Horse chestnut, sweet chestnut, Adam?
It doesn't say.
Because horse chestnut's not too bad. Sweet chestnut is quite coarse and aggressive on the tools.
But it turns all right.
Oh yeah, it turns all right. That's the top of it. So that angle there matches. I'll use a C jaw because they're both the same. So that angle there matches that angle there. But this is deeper because I don't want to go to the bottom and I want to keep this end clear. So with that in mind,
I think that answers Ben's question.
Yeah, it is slightly cut at an angle on the bottom. So I tend to turn it like that on the wheel so that I can get an undercut and a sharp top, and then all I do for sharpening it is put it on the diamond stone and rub it over 2 or 3 times. I haven't resharpened the bottom of this for 2-3 years. So I saw that one pop up.
Right.
So what is it, Adam? You've got a big supply.
It said it should be chestnut, but there's horse chestnut and sweet chestnut.
Which chestnut is it? Come on, mate,
they're,
get your act together.
They're actually they're very different timbers.
So this is just going quickly over it with a bit of second-hand 80 because it's still got teeth on it, so it's not too bad. And the surface wasn't too bad either, so we can first attempt with 80, then we'll touch it with some 120. That's quite good. Look at the colour around there. You can just see that coming through on the camera.
Lovely, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm sanding in reverse because I can, and that's taking it straight off the back down my big black hoover down the back there. So I'm not getting any of it thrown in my face. Or very little, shall we say.
Adam doesn't think it's horse chestnut, so that'll be sweet chestnut then.
If it's sweet chestnut, it'll be white, whitey brown, chocolate, very light chocolate.
It's a light chestnut, brown, yeah.
Yeah, if it's horse chestnut, it will be white.
Yeah, much paler.
Yellow, yeah, you'll end up with yellow flecks in it as well. Just a quick sand the opposite way, just to knock the fluffy bits off, because mulberry is quite a fluffy wood. So it's always worth it, if you can, to go into reverse.
Makes it sound quite endearing.
Give it a quick flick over with the paper. Door 60s, good evening, Adore.
You beat me to that one.
Yeah,
oh,
it just popped up as I looked up.
You've probably got StreamYard on, haven't you?
I've got StreamYard, yeah.
Yeah, so you get them before I do, yeah.
So that's 240. What I was about to say was, hopefully you guys have all found me easy enough, as it was a bit of a pantomime coming on.
We got 30 people in, so it's not too bad.
Well, I'm not going to knock that as a pop-up from nowhere. So let's get rid of a little bit of dust. Do it upside down. I'm not going to fill any of these cracks. I might do with a bit of wax, but that's about all. Sanding sealer.
It's quite a deep colour on that bit.
Yeah, it's nice, isn't it?
Mm.
Get a bit of loo roll so that I can wipe it back. Now it's gone canary yellow.
Ben is still questioning that tool you have for cutting the mortise. I'm not quite sure what he's getting at, but Keith, I was the question why the notch is so deep from the side. Is it to get in small spaces?
No, it's because I screwed it up when I first sharpened it, and I had to practice.
It's quite funny. Mine's exactly the same shape for the same reason. Yes. It's quite difficult to grind. No.
Yeah, it's a 3-dimensional grind that you've got to try and work out on there, or 3-axis grind. And my poor little plumbing brain didn't want to go anywhere near that. I knew what I wanted, but yeah.
David J. Heath is in.
Hello,
Guildford
David.
Carpenter.
Guildford, yes.
Yeah, not far away from us.
Yeah, you can shout, and you won't need it. I won't need the headset on. I could hear you. You're only Guildford. What's that? 16 mile away from me?
Something like that. Yep.
Yeah, 16, 19 mile at the most. Unless you're right over the further side in the posh bit.
I drove through Guildford on the way back the other day.
Yeah. Now I'm just going to give that a little bit of heat, because it does take a little bit of time to dry my sanding sealer. It's the shellac one, and thin down with meths. And I found that if I'm using gritty on it, Yorkshire grit, it does need to be dry. Yorkshire grit doesn't like working if it's still a tad wet.
David Heath says, I am, yes. I think he means he's in the posh bit.
In the knobby bit, eh? Oh, and hang up or hang down. That's it. All right. Look at that. First time in shot. How about that? And I got it the right way round.
Yeah, it's quite striking, that. Yep.
Bit of paper. I knew that's what I wanted. So liberally put it on, but not too much, because whatever you put on, you've got to work in and wipe off. So a generous coating, but not over generous.
Douglas Mungham says there's a mulberry in his local churchyard. It throws fruit all over the path.
They are messy, aren't they, Douglas?
Yeah, can be.
We
And
had
Rob's-
one local, and it was called Mulberry Close, and it blew down in one of the winter storms, and before I could get anywhere near it, they'd logged it.
Mm.
Bless them.
My wife's grandmother used to live in Mulberry Close in Horsham.
All right.
Yeah.
I've worked in several of them round there. Right, so we're gonna.
And Rob CP says he wishes he lived in a posh area.
We're gonna massage this in at a fairly low speed. This is about 100, 125, I think. And I can hear the difference the grit makes.
You got it back from Amberley then?
Yes. Yeah, it was in my tool bag after all that.
Oh,
There's very little in that pot.
Uh-huh.
But I have got a reserve now as well.
Yeah. Some of us have to buy our own, don't we?
Yep. Although I've had one donated to me.
Have you?
I really appreciate that. It turned up in the post the other day.
Very nice too.
So we've massaged that in. Creep the speed up a bit. Now if you take 3-4 minutes to work this in and wipe it off, that's not a bad thing, because you'll know you're doing what the grit is supposed to do.
Yep. And you really can hear when it's doing it, can't you?
Yep. And to aid it, what I tend to do is do a bit in forward, and before I get too fast with it, whack it into reverse, and the noise virtually disappears of the grit working then. And that is virtually quiet. So the worst bit on this is the bits up here. You can see I'm going to need to pick out the paper a bit later on or blow it out. I knew that would happen.
Yeah.
So we can live with that. And there's a bit in there. I'll have a quick pick at that because that looks horrible in white. But the air gun will come out on that probably tomorrow anyway. So
I find the chestnut safety cloths are a bit better for that. They're
that
quite as many
one's
bits.
absolutely soaked now, where I've got the heat in there. Well, I haven't got the chestnut one, but I've got another one that's virtually the equivalent of. Right, now we can get a little bit of speed into this. And what I'm looking for is a white cloth at the end, or white paper at the end of it. Yeah, this one's not tearing.
Rob from Copperell says how pretty it is.
Thanks, Rob. It is a nice colour, this lot.
Isn't it?
Some of the mulberry I've seen is quite brown.
Mm.
It's a bit like most woods. You can't pick and choose. Can I have a yellow piece? Can I have a brown piece? Is that bit red? Because 9 times out of 10, it won't be anything like what you've seen elsewhere. Some of this was actually quite brown. And I can show you the oxidized surface, which was a plain surface, when I turn it over in a minute.
Yeah.
I'm still getting a little bit of marking off of that, so
you do get some interesting timber, Keith, I have to say.
Yeah. Well, it's letting people know what you do.
Yeah.
And I always had a few bits and pieces in the van with me. Most of it was cord pulls, because most of my work was bathrooms.
Yeah.
So I had cord pulls in there and get to the end of the job and look at the bit of plastic on the wall and say to the customer, well, there's only one thing that really lets this bathroom down. I don't know whether you agree, but I don't think much of your cord pull. No, she'd usually say, I'm thinking of getting another one. I said, well, you could do with a nice wooden one. Yeah, I think that would look nice. Where can you get them from? I said, I'm not sure. And go out to the van, come back in and say, what, one something like that? Oh, they're gorgeous, aren't they?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'd end up giving one away, but at the end of the day, I knew it was an advert for me as well.
There you got a happy customer. Yep.
So, and the customer was happy, and they spoke about it to all their knobby friends that come round. Hampshire Gloss, food and toy safe. It's the gloss. Hampshire Sheen. It's not the high gloss one, because they didn't have that when I bought this. So I'm not saying I've had this a long time, but it's been in the cupboard a couple of weeks. So you don't want too much of this, but you want to put enough on that you know you've got wax on there. And you can feel when you've got all the way around, because the paper will start to pick a little bit as you get to the other end. Right, now don't forget to put the lid on, because the amount of times I've picked out shavings is nobody's business. I'm just going to gently massage this in. And I'm not racing tonight, guys, because I don't think there's anyone on after me. And I've got nothing else to do except go and sit indoors and have a beer. Oh, Christ, I think I better rush.
Suddenly the urgency set in, yeah. Jennifer's Craft and Creations is in.
Hello, Jennifer.
Jennifer Stroughton. Hello, Jennifer.
Is the old man out on the road tonight, Jennifer? Working? I should probably end up buffing this because of the bark inclusions. That's half my luck, isn't it? Most of the papers come out, so that's not too bad.
Good.
And they do suggest you leave it to dry and evaporate a bit. So there, without an excessive amount of rush, is the bottom. And you can see the gorgeous colours fleck through there.
I'm looking forward to seeing the inside, actually.
Well, tough, because there isn't any. Yeah, so that's,
all right, okay.
that's as it was cut. And I just literally stick it and chucked it underneath the bench over the back there. So it does oxidise a bit, but it oxidises a lot more if you put it in under UV light. Right, my normal procedure, I've just nipped it up to the jaws. I'm going to hold the chuck and just spin that around to get rid of any excess wax that might have got in the dovetail, any fluffy bits that might still be left in there before I tighten it up. So I know I can turn that on, and that's going to run as true as you like. So as normal, I'm leaving the ring center on, and people that follow me know that I do until the last minute so that if you do have an oops, you can still remount it. Where have you hidden that? It's not that one. Having a mental, guys. No, it's underneath them all. That's because I just literally tossed everything up the top there out the way.
All right.
That's my excuse. Didn't have a lot of time to sit and think. The time I found a piece of wood.
And Jennifer says yes, Mark's at work again.
Right. Now I tend to go onto the edge very gingerly there, rather than the pull cut of coming off the edge. Whether I'm right or I'm wrong, it works for me. And I don't really see the need to change it. Now I'm going to dish that down a fraction. Make a little bit of a lip. See what that looks like and how it's proportioned around there. I don't think it's quite big enough. It isn't. Need to go a little bit deeper in. I know what I'm looking for now. Almost seems a waste putting this on the floor, but unfortunately there's too many shakes in it to hold itself together. To even contemplate putting a bowl saver in there. Just going to swap over to the small one for just a second, just to put a little bit of detail on there. Plus it's sharp. Now, I'm not taking anything off with the camera. Pick up the whispers.
Yeah, I can see those. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's how delicate you can be, and you do need to be at times. I don't want to spend a lot of time sanding. I'm right over, and it's almost completely closed, the flute on there. So rather than it being open or partially open, that is virtually shearing on the bottom wing to get into that corner, which is what I want. So just a little bit of there's a bit of a that's the little bit of a ring there, but that won't take a lot of getting rid of, and that is quite often the case with mulberry. It flexes as you turn it. So, oh, sorry guys, I've got a mouthful of shavings as well. Don't know what condition this one's in, but I'm just going to lightly. Still got a mouthful of shavings.
Douglas has just spotted. Well spotted, Douglas. There are lots of little dodges you can use to hold your tools where you want them to be and to do the job that you want them to do. Basically, what he says is what you just did, using your left thumb as a pivot point to stop the gouge jumping backwards. Looks good trick.
Well, you're holding it up here. You can't see it so much. You're holding it down there. You haven't got a lot of strength in it. But I can put my hand over the top of the tool rest, perfectly safe. I'm holding it down, and I've got full control on it.
And it is ensuring that you can see what you're doing and getting the strength that you need in it. So yeah.
Well, the last thing I want is it's bouncing around on the tool rest.
Yeah. Especially when you're trying to get rid of a mark. Yes.
Yeah.
Neil M has just come in, a late arrival.
Hello, Neil. I've seen the name before.
Yes.
But that's about it.
Obviously had a long way to travel.
Look at that. That bloody mark's still there.
It's still there, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Mind you, my scraper's not brilliant. So what I'm doing is I'm gently twisting it to use it as a skew scraper. So I'm, rather than it being flat, I've just lifted it about 20 degrees. And I'm not putting hardly any weight on the wood, so somewhere along the line that marker go.
It's nearly gone.
It is pretty well gone now.
Just there, isn't it? Yeah.
Just there, yeah. God, you wouldn't believe it, how obstinate that's being.
That's suddenly become more obvious. Oh, that's better. Oh, Pat Cummings in. Hi
Hello,
all.
Pat.
Hope everyone's well. Just in from cutting the lawn.
I'm going to put that away because it's gone.
It's gone. Good.
Yeah. Am I pleased? Not really, but right, now we can strip this down. I had 4'8" holding this on. So I knew I wasn't thrashing it. So all that was hanging through the back is barely 3/4 of an inch of screw. But it works. I felt safe. And as long as I feel safe, I'm not worried about you guys sitting that side of the screen.
I felt very safe over here. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Let's
Douglas Munger
grind
is
this out.
suggesting
God,
people do the thumbs up.
it's always useful, guys. That didn't look very good. Not sure whether that was my eyes or it did jump a fraction.
I was looking at the chat at the moment, so I missed
Yeah.
that point. I missed it. Oh,
But no, it's true. One thing that I have noticed about mulberry is it's quite aggressive. It's quite a soft wood, but it's quite aggressive. So it does blunt the tools down quite quick. Whether that is just this tree, whether it is universally accepted that it's a fairly coarse, aggressive wood, I do not know. But this was salvage from West Sussex along the Salisbury Peninsula. I had a phone call from a friend of a friend of a friend. What's mulberry like for turning? Do you want any? What size is it? Well, we can't move it. It's quite big. Yeah, well, what size is it? Because you're a lady. Oh, it's about 6 foot long. Some of the bits. It's all been cut up because it fell across their garden. It's about 6 foot long, and some of the bits are about 3 foot diameter. Harry's saying it jumped. So I said, yeah, how much do you want for it? Oh, it's not worth anything because it's all rotten. So I said, okay, it's not worth anything. I said, it's worth a bit for me. But the time I come down to Salisbury, it's an hour and a quarter, hour and a half in the van. It's not going to be worth anything for me unless it's free. So she said, yeah, you can have it for free. So we did.
very nice too.
Emptied the van, put the sack barrow on, put the chainsaw on, and pulled up outside. She said, I'm not sure you're going to move it. So I said, well, you show me where it is first. Oh, it's just round the corner here. So we went round the corner. Oh, my life. There was quite a bit of it. Unfortunately, love, I can't take the whole lot. I haven't got a wood yard to store it in. And my little van will be standing on its back wheels.
Yeah.
And if I've got to go down Berry Hill, I said, that's not normally a good thing. Well, take what you can and what you'd like. So we picked it over, and she said, I'm still not sure you're going to get those big lumps in your van. So I said, oh, we've got a trade secret in there. So, well, I'm going to go in and sit down because it's not very warm. So she disappeared indoors, and I fired up the chainsaw. She come out about half hour later. Is that you with a saw? So I said, yeah. I said, it's the only way we can physically get it in the back of the van. So I cut these down to about 3 foot, cut them in half, put them on the sack barrow, and we had to drag them because it was quite damp, which was one of the reasons the tree fell over. The roots had let go. The two of us, we dragged them back to the van. And my little mate, who was shorter than me, he's about 5'2". He looked at me and he said, "I suppose you want them in the van, don't you?"
Guess.
No, I said, "I'll just come down here to cut them up and put them on the side of the road." So we had 5 minutes. We thought about it, and we put one on the ground as a step, and then rolled one up and lifted it over and slid it in. And on the wooden floor of the van, it went quite well. So I was quite chuffed with that. One final pass with the, well, it was freshly sharpened.
Maybe
See how this is, hear how this is bouncing.
It's looking better though.
You what, mate? Sorry.
That's looking better.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So we just light just caught it at the bottom. We could see that.
Just got a little bit of a light lamp there. I think we are on the homeward. Oh, God, my mate's exploded. Please excuse him, everybody.
Sorry, I didn't get to the mute button quick enough.
Yes, you can see it. It's a bit bleached out, but there's the colour from the
Lovely,
back. So again, I'm hand sanding it because I find on this it doesn't tear it so much. It gives me a little bit of control. So
it's a lovely piece of timber.
Right. Drop the speed down.
No, I was given some mulberry once, but I couldn't use it. It split so badly.
Yeah.
Just couldn't use it at all. Not even for pens.
Yeah, you can still see that. So I just pushed it back a bit so that it's a bit closer to the big sucking outlet. Now, like I said at the start, this actually sands quite well without too much aggravation and pressure. But you don't want to be thrashing round at 7,000 revs. It needs to be a realistic number so that the paper actually cuts it. I have found, I'll show you in a minute.
Nick Castle's got to go.
Thanks for stopping by, Nick.
Or Nick.
That is the problem. That is sort of a waxy build-up.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And if you use it in power sanding, you're forever changing the disc because you're running too fast. Well, that's what I found anyway. So I'm gradually teasing it out from the centre. Just flattening off the little pimple bits that are in there. But I did say it was quite a waxy wood to sand. But I'm prepared to suffer the consequences of that. To hell with another bit of abrasive, if that's what it costs because of it.
Yeah.
Look at that, how it's built up on there. Can you see it?
Yeah, yes, can.
Yeah. So you can't.
You just have to
do miles of it.
Pretend somebody else has paid for it.
Yeah, they have. It was me.
It really is quite waxy, isn't it? Yeah.
Mm. So you imagine what that's like on the back of a drill, spinning round at several hundred.
Yeah.
I think what I should do now is, as I can, go back into reverse, because that tends to help it a bit. I don't know what the structure of this timber is like, but like I say, it's gorgeous when it's finished. But that's built up a wax on there already. I haven't found the answer to it yet. Not every bit is as bad. But I did try using power sander once, and I just wondered why all it was doing was polishing it. Same as what this is, it's just picking it up.
Pat Cummings asking, how dusty is it? You would think that the wax would keep the dust down, does it?
It does a fraction. It does a fraction, but it's still. You can you see the dust?
Oh yeah, yeah.
On the bed bars.
It's still sticking together in lumps, isn't it? Almost, yeah.
It's clumping. I've never tried this on here before. It's Abranet.
I'm swearing by that at the moment.
Well, I can see the dust coming through.
Peter Kelly says a wire brush takes the waxy stuff off the abrasive.
Yeah.
Benjamin just said, have you tried Abranet on it? Well, the answer is yes. Just now. Is it clogging that, or is it coming off?
No, it's knocking out.
Coming out. Oh, that's all right then. It's good stuff. That.
Yeah.
I was really surprised because I think it was something I'd waxed. I sanded, and it actually still cleared that. Quite amazing. It's not cheap, but it's good.
No. Well, this was cheap because it come from one of our ex-members.
All right, but it lasts for so long.
Yeah, it was no good where he'd taken himself to anyway.
But I was still using. I don't know if you remember when I got it. It was a little while ago, and I'm still using this first lot. I haven't changed it, and I do most of my sanding by hand, so it's quite impressive.
So the only time I tend to use it is for acrylics, if I ever do any.
Yeah.
See, it's built up on there now.
I just bash it on it on the bed of the lathe, basically. Yeah.
But I've jammed it in there because I've doubled it up. That's why.
Yes. Yeah.
So just as a single. So that's 120. Let's see what that's like.
I love Adams. I love wood turning. Adams says better than ProNet. IMO. What does IMO mean? in my opinion.
Yeah, no, ProNet is bloody horrible.
I haven't tried ProNet.
No, I've tried some. I had some given me. Try that. Oh my
No, I've
God.
heard people say it's not as good, so I've never bothered
Yeah,
getting any.
it's a bit like trying to sand with a string vest.
I don't think I fancy that.
No. Well,
Especially if I'm wearing it.
Yeah. Or it's Alison's. Looks like that's the only Abranet I've got. I thought I had some 240, but I haven't.
So I'll pass it to you. Yeah.
Okay, cheers. Delayed in the post.
Yes. Yeah.
I haven't. So I'll have to go on to conventional 240. That's 120, 120, it's 240. Won't take a lot because it's pretty good now. And I'm not pressing overly hard. So I'm holding it like this so that if the paper does get caught, it'll whip it out my hand. So the only bit that's touching is the very lightly underneath my thumb.
Yeah, Adam says he gets meter strips from Simon Hope for £4. That doesn't sound too bad.
Well, Abranet, yeah.
Yeah.
Because Simon does two different ones, doesn't he? He does Abranet and he does another one, or is it? Oh, I may be wrong on that one. It may be Dan at Taylor's Murfield that does two. But I know the ProNet, as far as I'm concerned, is a total waste of time. There was got no integrity to it.
Right.
Right. Done. Off. Before I turn the big sucker off, I'll get rid of some of this dust. Getting dark out there now, mate.
It is.
I think the bogeymen might be queuing up outside. Right,
shut my workshop door in a minute. I think it's getting a bit chilly.
Right. I'm not getting chilly because I'm right at the further end. I'm quite a long way off for the door.
Well away from the door, aren't you? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sitting just inside it. Mind you, most of my workshop's just inside the door.
Right.
They're all cosy.
Yeah. Nice bit of canary yellow.
Simon does Indasa as well as Indasa paper as well as Abranet.
Yeah, well, I do the Indasa. I sell that.
That's right. Yeah.
And he sells the red, doesn't he? And I sell the cream, the gold.
Yeah.
The red I find is a bit hard for bending. I did a thorough investigation of all of them before I finally made up my mind this is what the club was going to stock, which is what it does now. And I went this way because it was more flexible, fabric backed. You can cut it, pair of scissors, sharp knife, whatever you want, to whatever configuration you want.
Yep. And we'll be able to buy it from the club again soon. Did you get that email?
Yes, thank you very much.
Yeah, good.
Didn't say a lot, did it?
No, not a lot, but it's looking quite hopeful for September. But I think you've got a meeting coming up beginning of August, haven't you?
No, I'm not on the committee now.
Oh, aren't you? Oh, right. Oh, you haven't then.
I've walked away from the committee.
I think they've got a meeting coming up beginning of August.
Yeah, 2nd, I believe.
So we'll find out after that. Be nice to meet again.
Well, it'd be nice to see what the others haven't done.
Yeah.
Because I don't think there's a lot been going on.
No, we've had quite a few watching us, but which is nice.
Ben's saying that he also does 115 by 10 metres.
For 10 metres for 40
£40.
quid.
Yeah.
Yep. Which is pretty much the same as a metre for £4, isn't it? Except that was 120 mil wide, so a fraction wider.
120, 115. They're usually 115. The universal cut,
Yep.
apparently. Right, let's toasted that side. That's dry, not too warm. That's what I don't want, too warmth. Right. Where did I throw me bit of paper? Could be anywhere. Oh, it's got wax on it. Can't use that. I smell it as soon as I sniff.
All right. Yeah.
We'll start with a clean bit of paper. To hell with the expense.
Give the cat a goldfish.
Yeah. A good coating, but not a wasteful coating. You can always do it twice if you're not happy with the first results, or you can always go over it with the microfine.
Yep.
If you're not happy with the first results. So, right, let's burnish this in, get a little bit of speed. That's it. Listen to it now. Douglas saying it's on the floor.
Yeah.
I don't think it is. Not this end of the workshop. It's on the floor in front of me waste bin. Because I threw it from this side of the I threw it from this side of the bandsaw. And the wind caught it and it took it. Has that bleached it out too much?
No, that's all right.
So because you can see the colour of it now, and so can I. I've been sanding in braille.
Yes.
Right, that has gone virtually quiet. And this is where you guys that have never used Yorkshire grit haven't got a clue what we're talking about. So the hissing of the grit, rubbing of the grit has disappeared now. So we can ramp up the volume. Give it a quick zap.
So Adam's saying Yorkshire grit. The critics say it blocks up the pores in the wood, but then what does wax do anyway?
Yeah, well, its base is beeswax and mineral oil,
which blocks the pores of the wood. So you get the finish.
I tend to run this fairly high, so now I'm going to go into reserve and do it the other way, so I don't have to work it quite so long.
No, Adam. It's not going into the wood. The hissing is the sound of the abrasive actually smoothing the wood, if you like, burnishing it almost. It's just I was saying, is it going into the wood?
It shouldn't theoretically go into it because you've sanding sealed the wood.
Yep.
To start with.
Which has sealed the pores anyway.
Yeah, you can go straight on to bare wood with it if you so wish. But then it's advisable to do it twice with the same grit. I've never had a problem, particularly in the early days when I forgot or I didn't think. So It's got a bit of heat into that now. We're going into forward. One final rub through, and I can see the beeswax and the mineral oil melting into the wood. That's why I threw it away last time, because it's wet on the other side of the paper. So I invested in a new piece of paper, didn't I?
You mad impetuous fool, you.
I know, to pull it off. That's only a sheet of paper.
Absolutely.
Not expensive.
Buy it by the roll, you got yards of it.
Yeah, particularly if you buy it by the big roll.
Yeah, I do.
And
pack of about 10 of them, I think. I've got them underneath the bench here.
All right. Well, this is commercial grade paper.
Yeah, mine is. Yeah.
Which usually come in 6 to a pack, which is what we used to buy them at Club for, 6 to a pack.
1, 2, 3, 4. It might have been 6 or 8.
Yeah,
it was. Yeah.
And these are, is it 10 inches wide by 20 inches long? The squares, double ply, and I believe it's 300 meters on a roll.
Yeah, I don't know how long the rolls are on one, but they're double ply, and they're about 10 inches by 10 inches each piece.
No, you've got the half
perforations.
Size ones.
Yes,
yeah. There's so many different ones out there, and
a
lot of people. So a lot of people say, "Oh, don't use the blue one." What have I just used to put it on with? The blue one.
Yeah.
Did I have a problem? No, because it's a good quality blue one.
Yeah, that's right. That's the key. I tend to use 2 sheets at a time anyway, so it doesn't matter. I could have bought the ones that you have, use 1 sheet, but it doesn't make any odds, does it?
But what I will say is, don't buy a lot of the kitchen rolls, because the kitchen rolls are very soft.
Yeah.
They're all right for a final polish, but they are very soft. They're absorbent. That's why they're kitchen rolls. So what you put on the paper, be it wax or anything else, is going to be sucked into it.
Soaks it in, yep.
Because that's what they're designed for. They're not designed for spreading out, mopping up, getting rid of wax and the like. These papers aren't, but they're not as absorbent as a kitchen roll is. So that's come off there now clean. Or it will have when I just go over it one more time. Very little on there. So we know we've got all of that off. So I'm not going to put a burn ring around on the shoulder. I don't think it needs it. I've got a big enough shoulder on there to make it visible. Drop the speed right down. Back over to the Hampshire Sheen.
Question from Douglas. Are you going to make a lid for this?
No.
I think I know the answer.
The problem is, it would never be a lid that matched the grain.
No.
Because I haven't got the corresponding piece.
It probably wouldn't fit by tomorrow morning.
I don't think that would be an issue.
No.
But no, I don't think it's going to move. I don't think it's going to move that far if it does move a fraction. But it would need to be a complementary lid. And as this is yellow, I would be looking at something like a black or a very dark brown to make it stand out.
Yep. Adam is off. Bye, Adam.
Thanks Adam.
Thanks for coming in.
Catch up on yours one of these days. You're usually starting a bit later than what I do. So
I usually go to bed by then. Yeah.
Oh, sometimes thinking about it, but it's sometimes a bit early.
Oh, real simple things.
Hello,
Who's that?
Baz.
Baz, that's it.
Yeah.
He's just come in.
Just woken up, mate, or just got the kids off to sleep?
Oh, he's on my list already. I was just going to make a note of his name, but it's there.
Bernie Baz. So how many have we got in? 36? Well, that's incredible considering it's a non-scheduled event.
Yes, it's a good turnout.
I'm sure
37
Rich,
now. It's just gone up one.
Yeah, I'm sure Rich would be happy with the outcome that we've given him.
And the person who's just come in is Lionel.
Hello, Lionel. Oh, yes.
Hello, Lionel. L'Atelier de Leo.
Mm.
Ben says, is Adam going or what? He said he was going a while ago and he didn't. Ben,
David
of course,
Deadman's just crept in.
Oh, yes, just seen that.
Sorry for being exceptionally late, he says.
Yes, it's just about finished, David.
Yes. Turn that off.
But thanks for coming anyway.
Yeah, you can watch it tomorrow, David.
I love wood turning. Adam just says cough. Just lets us know he's still here.
Right, let's go on to a different camera. Let's take these off. See why I couldn't see much out of my glasses now. A little bit of dust on them. Right, I've got the mouse.
That is gorgeous. I like that.
Got the mouse. There we go. What camera are we on, Andy?
That one.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, you want to go to the other one? Yeah.
Can't see much through that one either. That's better.
There you are.
That's better. Right.
Looks like a slightly foggy night, but
yeah, if I come and stand back here behind it,
that's better. That's better.
You can see some
can
of
you
the grains.
Can you put the dust back on, please? Yeah.
Yes.
just being rude. Nothing much.
So that's the bottom, and around there is an exceptionally nice area of grain, which correspondingly is in there. So
Ruby says very, very nice, Keith.
Thank you, Ruby. A quick pop-up from nothing, and it was a matter of finding something that was respectable to do.
That's really very nice.
It doesn't show the colour. Let me get rid of that one. That's better. Oh, it does show it better on there. Does show it better on there.
Almost a greenish hue to it on that camera. I don't know whether it's the camera or...
yeah, it is the camera. It is actually canary yellow.
All right.
On all of it. So
it's lovely. I mean, it's got some interesting shades of different colours in it.
Yep. You've got the centre shake, which looks like a spider. Big old daddy long legs sitting on there.
Yes. Yeah. Some nice comments coming up.
So, unfortunately, you guys had to suffer me tonight, but could have been worse. You could have had nothing.
The man from the posh side of Guildford said, really nice, Keith.
Thank you. All, one and all.
And it's not Alex of Wild and Things, it's Alice of Wid and Things.
Okay.
I've just read it properly.
I don't suppose he's going to object. He's called me Keith, so it's fine.
That's right, yeah. We're still friends.
Yeah. So, yeah, David's put in nice shape. Well, to me, that is an uplifting shape. It lightens the wood. No end. It was either that one or it was a toss-up with this bit. This is a bit I started some many moons ago and took it off, and that's as far as it's got.
All right. What was that?
It's ash.
Oh, it is ash, is it? I can't really see.
I believe it. I believe it's ash, but it didn't want to play ball very well, and it did what I needed to do. I've just literally put a purple stain over the outside because
Hmm.
there is an inclusion there. No, it's not. It's seed. It's a cedar or something like that.
Oh,
So
really?
it could have been that piece, but I thought, no, sod it. To hell with the
Yeah.
expense.
Yes. Give the cat a goldfish.
Yeah, let's go for an. And Ben's put on an acceptable piece. Well, thank you,
Douglas
Ben,
Mungham.
from
Question: Where,
you.
Keith? Where
That
is the
is.
canary?
Where's the canary?
Yeah.
You can see it hiding in the bottom there, can't you? Yeah. Yeah. Can you not see the picture of it?
And Benjamin, I love his being master of
Yeah.
understatement. An
Yeah.
acceptable piece, Keith. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I didn't want to do an exceptionally good piece to upset you and annoy you, Ben. So I thought I'd just pass the criticism as yeah, it'll pass.
Martin of Woody's Creations is off.
Yeah, and so am I in a minute. So
Yeah, absolutely.
if you've
Yes,
got any questions, bang them in there quick, guys. I'd like to go and sit down and maybe even crack a beer. That was the intention for tonight, but it's a bit late. But I can still drink it quick.
Oh, you can manage, Keith. You can manage.
I can force myself.
I have every
So,
confidence in you.
yeah,
Yeah, it's been a busy day.
Martin's no, he's only just arrived. Well, evening, Keith. Oh
he's
yes,
just
I
arrived.
see
Oh,
that.
sorry,
Yeah,
Martin.
yeah,
Evening, Keith. I thought you were going. Oh, very pleased to see you, Martin. I thought I
yeah.
hadn't seen your name before.
Welcome to the
Yeah.
madhouse. Must have been the extra one that popped in, as you said.
Yes, yeah.
It's all will be available tomorrow on the tubes. You can all watch it. You can all
Yep.
spend a bit of time gloating over the wood that I've got that you haven't.
Yes, that's another nice piece. Sickening, isn't it?
Yeah,
Mind you, I can't
Mind you,
complain. You've given me some lovely pieces, so
yeah.
I'm not complaining.
Remember, I said that it does oxidize. Well,
Yes.
that's the inside cut, and that's the
Right.
outside that I cut with the chainsaw. So that is 10 years oxidized.
That's quite brown, isn't it? Almost black.
Yeah, but there was no finish on there at all, whereas this has got finish on it.
No, that's right.
So it does oxidize. Yeah, that might have got your name on it, Andy.
That would be lovely. Because I'm really impressed with that piece you just turned. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's wood with character, isn't it? You know, like anything with character, really.
Well, it's not a bit of ash that you've got and you put colour on it.
Yeah, like my platters. Yeah,
colour on it. Yeah. I'm not knocking anybody.
It has its place.
Yes.
They all have their place, but a bit of character would you can't beat it.
No. And I found another piece.
Peter Corcoran says thanks, guys, for sharing.
Yeah. Well, I was looking for that piece tonight. That is just shy of 12 inches by 4, and that is a teak. And I'll tell you what, it's bloody heavy. Just holding it there.
Almost like our Roko, but yeah.
Yeah. No, it's Papua New Guinean teak.
Oh, is it? Yeah.
Apparently, or their equivalent. So that nearly went on, but I thought, I can't do that tonight.
Douglas says,
"Go for the end grain of your blanks to prevent cracking." David Nicol says, "I very rarely, David, because what I tend to do is I tend to leave mine in plank form, and if it cracks, it will crack down, and theoretically, you've got enough to use either side of the crack. I mean, some of my boards are 12-ish inches wide, particularly the U, and if that cracks down the middle and opens up, you've got 6-inch bowls either side. But if you hack that all off to start with and fill up all the cracks and put end grain seal on there, I can't see that you can save a lot, particularly if you've got it somewhere relatively cool in a breezy atmosphere. No, it's not Iroko. although Iroko might be a teak substitute, it's a different. Iroko is quite a lot lighter, Rob. So if you can hide it away, stack it away, and forget about it in a coolish area, leave it in as big as you can, and possibly move it to start with, and then process it into smaller bits later on.
Yep, I have a problem storing big bits, so I do tend to end seal mine because they are quite small and I can't afford to waste them all.
No,
but it's horses for courses, isn't it?
yeah, the problem I usually end up with, that's half a log.
Yeah.
So I've cut it down through the middle, so I can either use that as a winged bowl, or I can use it as a winged bowl the way I've just done it. But that's only 5 inches across.
Yeah,
that's about the smallest I process. I've got quite a few of those tucked away. That one's laburnum, but I've got quite a few small bits of yew. But the problem is you need a lathe that you can drop the speed right down, that's easy. It's no good going in there at maximum revs with something like that on. Oh God, that's a bit scary. As it fires up to 2,500 or whatever. So I'm reluctant to give any of those away to people that haven't got a lathe that will start slow, because I don't want them coming back and saying, "Oh, that bit you gave me, it exploded and it's embedded itself in my forehead."
It went through the roof. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, I've got a fan light in the roof now. I didn't want one, but I've got one. Oh. So one has to be a little bit careful, but it's if anyone wants to chat to me, off air, that's fine. I know Adam did today. He had a question, and several people have done in the past. I'm quite happy to chat off air if you want to, or you can give me a buzz through Messenger. You can find me on Facebook.
Robert's talking about his piece. He wasn't saying that your piece was Iroko. He's just saying it's a teak substitute. It's used a lot for science benches in schools, Rob, because it's acid proof. I used to get a lot of it when they were redoing the labs up at the Weald School in Billingshurst when I was woodwork teacher there. Used to use a lot of Iroko for all sorts of stuff, and it was gorgeous timber, but it's very durable.
There's quite a lot of outside door frames are made from it, and doors. Pieces
certainly used to be, yeah.
Providing it's not too big an area.
Benjamin.
No, it doesn't have to be, but I can probably give as good as I get.
I love his imagination. I like it.
Yeah, great. I've got my own email address for people like you, Perverks Incorporated, at btinternet.com. If you want to touch base with me on that one, Ben.
Yeah. As Douglas says, plus big bits are scary. They bounce lathes about. They can do if you turn them up too fast. Yeah, like that piece of oak did.
Yeah, that's another good point on there. If you've got sharp tools and you're presenting them right, you shouldn't get a lot of bounce off of the lathe. The lathe is going to move. It's going to shake, but it shouldn't be that much. So I would say that, contemplate looking at sharp tools, or if you've got a very big piece, you go for a slightly bigger bowl gouge.
But with sharp tools, you can turn at a slightly slower speed as well.
Yeah, and I've got the weight and the mass in that. This is an inch bar.
Yeah.
So it's a 3/4 inch bowl gouge in a 2 foot long, quite heavy handle. So that takes a lot of the bounce out as the timber comes down onto it. But this is where so many people go wrong. They go straight off the top of the rest level, or just the handle down a fraction. If you see me turn, I will be turning at 45 degrees to the blank.
Vertical, yep.
Yeah, and I will also be turning 45 degrees to the blank the other way, almost. So I will be cutting on there's the camera, this bottom wing as it shows there, up against the timber. So it's slicing it off. So rather than you going in level or that way and getting a straightforward bang as it comes down on top of the cutting edge there, if you tip that, you come down and you slice it off.
Slice it, yeah, that's the operative word, isn't it?
Yeah, slice it off.
Yep, yep. Good.
So
that's about it. We got a ha from Ben.
Yeah, I know.
That's a good note to finish on.
I'm going to hit the off button, guys. Thank you all once again for popping over tonight, for covering for Rich, and I'm sure he's happy in that it's been covered. I know he wasn't happy with why it was being covered, but I don't know whether he did mention that at all, and I won't, because I haven't had a chance to go through Facebook yet, but it'll come out eventually, but I'm not mentioning it. But I'll leave that up to him. That's private. So thank you, guys. I'm going to go and hit the proverbial off button. I will see you all. Andy's next Tuesday.
I am.
I'm not in next week unless we have a panic, or am I? Oh,
yes, you are. Yes, you are.
Yeah, I'm doing Tuesday lunchtime, and Andy's doing Tuesday evening. So you've got me again next Tuesday lunchtime, then, guys, because Andy's covering for Rich next Tuesday.
Tuesday evening, that's right.
Yeah. So I'm doing Tuesday lunchtime.
You're doing lunchtime.
Andy's doing Tuesday evening.
That's it. Yeah. 8 o'clock Tuesday evening. I should be here.
Unless Rich wants to do it next week and come back.
Well, yeah, I mean that's
So
going by the timetable we'd established, that was where we would be. Yep.
Yeah. So there you go, guys. 25 of you. You go and all and pour yourself a drink. I'm going to. I'm sure Andy's going to pour himself something.
Oh yes.
So thanks, guys. Bye for now.
Cheers. Bye, everybody.